These two llamas are super nervous about their haircuts. In this video, I'm going to show you how I combat that to build trust. How's it going, y'all? I'm Katie, and this is my wife Darian, and together we make the team at Right Choice Shearing. We shear llamas, alpacas, and sheep, but our real passion is spreading knowledge about our industry. You never know what we'll see at the next job, but it's sure to be satisfying and absolutely adorable. So join us as we travel 9 states and service thousands of animals. Welcome to the party! We hope you stick around. This is Lira, and she's getting her first haircut at her forever home. Her fiber was extremely matted and full of debris when I got there. She was very skittish, and her new owner didn't know when the last time she was shorn or how she would do. She did surprisingly well as I removed the first half of her blanket, but began to get very nervous as I got lower and lower towards the bottom of her belly. So I cut off the hanging mats to make her a little less nervous. That's a lot of weight for a quarter of the way through. She continued to be patient as I sheared off her neck, but then as I started to move down and get towards her front leg, she began to get nervous again. I decided to save that for later and just cut off what was hanging. Since she was super nervous, I moved to her back hip to gain some trust before returning to those problem areas. She took that really well and even improved when I got back to her front leg. But when I got to her belly, she said no way. I let her settle and then moved to the other side to let her know that throwing a fit was not going to help and work back on building the trust. This stuff was incredibly thick, and it needed to come off. And although she might not be enjoying the shearing, the best way to see improvement is working through her fear. So when the mats touch her leg here, I move with her so she learns it's okay. And she responds really well. But back at the front leg, she's still dancing away from me. Now, before anybody loses their mind, she's not hanging herself. The halter is firm against the back of her head, and she can breathe just fine. So as long as it's safe, I continue to work. This will prove to the llama that though she's scared, I'm just there to help. She falls to the side because she's pulling her legs away from me and she's unbalanced. If I were to stop now, she would learn that that did the trick. But if I continue and succeed, she'll learn that it was easier to stand and not so bad. While she lays down, I do some cleanup. That way she doesn't think I stopped just because she lays down. She gets back up and I floof that tail, removing the mats but leaving off fly swatter. This is the length of the mats on her body, and underneath them was lice. These lice cannot transfer to humans, and the first step to recovery is removing the fleece. Now Lira will be much happier, and has set a good example for her buddy. It looks like life has been tough, but it's about to get a whole lot better. This is Luna, and she's very nervous about her first haircut. She was tense but cooperative as I removed that thick, heavy blanket. Luna came from the same place as Lira, and we don't know how long it's been, but for sure a couple years since she was shorn. She handled her neck well, but gave me signs of discomfort as I got to that front leg. So I removed the part that was dangling and went ahead and moved to a different location to gain a little bit more trust from her. But moving down that hind leg, her nerves began to build. I tried dancing with her, but the energy was too much and she had to release it. I gave her some space, but as soon as she leveled out, I got back in there. I have to let her know that throwing a tantrum will not scare me away. Haircuts are important, and it's best for both of us if she stands for the process. As you can see, she's already getting better. Now it's time to move to that front leg. Llamas are naturally sensitive in this area because their way of fighting is biting each other's legs. I let her lay down while I continue my work. It's important that I keep calm even while she overreacts. This tells her that her tactics aren't working, so she stands back up. She'll remember this experience, so it's important that I show her that I'm not here to hurt her, but to help. I don't mind if she lays down. The halter is firm against the back of her neck and not choking her in any way. And right here is proof of the magic. She does excellent for this last back leg. Much better than the explosion earlier. But we find some nerves again as we get to the front leg. She pulls that leg away from me and even pushes me out of the way. But I go right back at it, so she doesn't think she can just muscle me around. I've done this with thousands of animals, and llamas way worse than Luna show vast improvement by the third shearing. I continue working with her leg until she stands and relaxes. I use my less scary hand to hold her leg until I can tell that she's no longer scared. Then I let her stand. Same process on the other side, and she fights me a little bit until she decides she wants to lay down and won't budge. I adjust her halter for comfort while her buddy Lira comes over to give her some moral support. I mess with her legs to show her that laying down didn't stop me, but then it's a couple of moral support pets before I trim up the back of her head. And of course we gotta floof the tail! Overall, Luna did great, and I'm confident over time her and Lira will be my best customers.